My 4-year-old son Luke has a rare and incurable condition called Angelman syndrome. It's a neurodevelopmental disorder that robs him of an ability to communicate and live independently, as most do in nearly every way. But it also grants him, and me as his dad, with some unique gifts and experiences. Although I'm a father of 3, Layla's our oldest at 6, Adrian the youngest at 1.5. In many ways, my primary cultural identity is as a parent to a child with a disability who will require lifelong care. Whereas most parents of kids with disabilities are quite outspoken about the rights of their children, people with Angelman syndrome like Luke struggle immensely to express their ideas, feelings, needs, and desires for themselves, as most don't ever really develop any form of traditional spoken language for communication. So I suppose this is as much a narrative of what I believe Luke's reality to be as it is mine as his dad. I'm often asked to describe the experience of raising a child with a disability, to try to help people who have not shared that unique experience to understand it, to imagine how it would feel. I suppose it's like this. When you're going to have a baby, it's like planning a fabulous vacation trip to Italy. You buy a bunch of guidebooks, make wonderful plans, the Colosseum, the Michelangelo, the gondolas in Venice. You may even learn some handy phrases in Italian. And it's all really exciting. After months of eager anticipation, the day finally arrives. You pack your bags and off you go. Several hours later, the plane lands. The stewardess comes in and says, "Welcome to Holland." Wait, Holland? What do you mean Holland? We're booked for Italy. I'm supposed to be in Italy. All my life, I've dreamed of going to Italy. But there's been a change in the flight plan, and they've landed in Holland, and that's where you will stay. So you have to go out and buy new guidebooks, where you'll learn that kids with Angelman syndrome like Luke love being held and hugged and playfully tickled and kissed by anyone and everyone. But because they share some minor genetic traits with kids with autism, eye contact can be fleeting and only becomes more consistent with time and the development of a deep relationship with another person. And you must learn a whole new language, a language that expresses happiness via an aggressively infectious laughter toward any person, activity, toy, or food Luke likes, and an avoidant head turn, and maybe even a stereotypical pouty frown of his bottom lip toward what he doesn't like, what he doesn't want. And you'll meet a whole new group of people you would have never met before. Luke will greet them with a smile, a laugh, his arms flapping as if he'd fly right up into their chest. Whereas I'll probably ask about how other parents learned of the diagnosis, what they found most inspiring, like Luke's ability to persevere and learn to stand and begin to walk, or what's felt most devastating, like struggling with a mystifying seizure profile, a severe sleep disorder that disrupts Luke and the whole family, or puzzling respiratory illnesses that seem to appear out of nowhere and can bring everything crashing down. But with all of it, the important thing about arriving in Holland is realizing that they haven't taken you mistakenly to a horrible, disgusting, filthy place full of pestilence and famine and disease. It's just a different place. It's just not Italy. Yeah, it's slower paced than Italy. It's less flashy than Italy. But after you've been there for a while and you catch your breath, you look around, and you begin to notice things. You notice that Holland has windmills, and Holland has tulips. Holland even has Rembrandts. Come on, hell, Holland even has bicycles. There are actually more bikes in Holland than people. That, of course, is never a bad thing anywhere, and it's actually provided me with an incredible way to cope and find meaning in my identity as Luke's dad. In fact, I'll be riding my bike about 1,000 miles in 7 days, all the way from Miami up to North Carolina to raise awareness and money for Angelman syndrome research. Parents and advocates disagree about the search for a cure for Angelman syndrome. Some parents say that they wouldn't have their angel any other way and aren't particularly taken with the notion of a cure someday. Although I wouldn't exchange Luke for anyone else's non-disabled child, I do yearn for the child that he might have been. Maybe the child he was supposed to be, and I worry deeply what will happen in the future when I'm gone, and I won't be the one to translate one laugh from another, a pout of tiredness and exhaustion versus one of pain telling me that something's wrong and he feels sick and he needs my help. And that will become Layla and Adrian's responsibility at whatever level they believe is appropriate for them. And therein lies the dilemma. Cutting-edge researchers and practitioners, like those at the University of North Carolina, have an Angelman syndrome-specific interdisciplinary health services clinic, adjoined with scientific cure research efforts. But trying to get others to support cure research when so many within the community and across the disabilities industry seem to be sending a message that it's not worth it or necessary to pursue it, that's challenging and self-defeating. Somehow allowing the public to abdicate responsibility and say to us in return, well, if you don't have a problem with it, then why should we care to help you find a cure? And all the while this is going on in your life, in your head, in your heart, everyone you know is busy coming and going from Italy, and they're all bragging about what a wonderful time they had there. Vacationing, moving into hip neighborhoods while you're moving out. Date nights, full, uninterrupted night's sleep, peace. And for the rest of your life, you'll reflect from time to time, living a bit in the past, saying, yeah, that's where I was supposed to go. That's what I had planned too. I was supposed to be in Italy. And the pain of that. Here's where it seems some people get it wrong, or refuse to acknowledge it, or allow others to acknowledge and own it. The pain of that will never, ever, ever, ever go away. Because the loss of that dream is a very, very significant loss. But, and there's a but, if you spend your life mourning the fact that you didn't get to Italy, you may never be free to truly enjoy the very special, very lovely things about Holland. Luke's a fighter, and he's brought us to Holland. And because of it, we're fighters. I'm a fighter, his mom's a fighter. For and because of Luke and his resilient drive to explore, work, and overcome challenges. He's inspired us all and made us more appreciative and patient parents. He has a great team of therapists, an amazing caretaker, the best mom in the world, siblings who he adores and who adore him, and an army of absolutely amazing guardian angel grandparents behind him. His older sister Layla has given him her heart and undying support, and he really couldn't have a better keeper in her. And Adrian, well, he'll always help push Luke to continue progressing and developing his own physical, communicative, and mischievous abilities. So that's it. That's where we live. And although I'm not inviting you to move or hoping to see you next door to us, you can come and visit. Come to appreciate the beautiful complexity. See some of the beautifully broken things we've been able to piece together into something magical and truly inspiring. We can share a beer, and of course a laugh with Luke, and maybe even a bike ride. After all, there's no better way to be welcomed to Holland.